Hello lovely, thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't met me before, then hello, my name is Laura, lovely to meet you. I am going on my holiday today for 2 weeks to the caravan in Wales, and I am very stressed. I am not ready. It is 6:20 in the evening and we were planning on leaving at 8 a.m. So yeah, things haven't really gone to plan, but I still wanted to try and get this video filmed. As I've got to get ready anyway, I thought I would just switch the camera on. I genuinely have no idea what kind of look I'm going to do, what palette I want to use, nothing. I just am going to slap some makeup on so I feel a bit more put together and a bit more like I've got my life in order. It is still extremely sunny and extremely hot today, so I usually film in natural daylight, but I just can't open my curtains and sit in front of the window. I will burst into flames. So I've got my like studio lighting on, and if there's a bit of a mess behind me, it's because my room is in disarray as I get ready to pack. I haven't even packed yet. I wanted to get myself ready and then pack. So let's get moving, let's get some makeup on. I am super shiny today. I've tried a new, it's like a primer and a self tanning serum in one, and I'm using it for the first time today. So it's been on about 20 minutes, but it has like a gold reflect in it, which is the sort of the shininess that you are seeing on my skin, probably mixed with a little bit of sweat as well. But let's get started. Okay, first things first, for my foundation I am going to be using my L'Oreal True Match Nude, as I just want something fairly lightweight. I would usually put like a blurring primer or something on as well, but I don't want, I want to see how this tanning stuff works as a primer on its own. I love a multi-use product, and if I can kill two birds with one stone, do some self-tan as well as prime for foundation, that would be brilliant. And I've realised I've already missed a step. I haven't carved underneath my brows or done my colour corrector or anything. Oh my god, this is going to be a disaster already, I know. I didn't have time to do any of the beauty treatments that I usually like to do before I go away. I have this morning had a bath, shaved everywhere, exfoliated, toned my hair again, put a layer of gradual tan on, and my toenails I'm gonna have to do when I get there. I also tinted my brows the other night when I couldn't sleep, which I'm feeling very grateful for past Laura for doing that now. But yeah, I had hoped to do a gel manicure for me and my mum and do both of us a pedicure. I am qualified to do both, but time has got away and I've really been struggling with my sleep lately. I've been not sleeping at all. Last night I was still awake this morning I was still awake on 6 a.m. so yeah, which is one of the reasons why I'm not organised at all, because I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm just going to tap over with my sponge. Just going to spray it with a bit of setting spray because I forgot to wet it. Okay. Now let's do my colour corrector and concealer, which I should have done before I did my foundation. I'm using the Huda Beauty Faux Filter colour corrector in the shade Cherry Blossom. I love this. I think my favourite out of the ones that I've tried is the Kosas colour corrector in the shade Magic. It's so brightening, but this is more of like a traditional colour corrector shade where it's got quite a strong peachiness to it, so it does cancel out the blue and purple, but it's not like brightening like the Kosas one is. And then for my concealer, I'm going to be using my Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion concealer. I am trying to finish this one, and it is a lovely concealer, one of my favourites. Okay, so that is my base for now. I am going to use a new cream bronzer that I picked up yesterday. I had to go into Boots to collect my prescription, and they were doing spend over a certain amount on Rimmel and you got a free liquid eyeliner, and I actually needed a black liquid eyeliner, and I was picking up something else anyway, so I just grabbed this to sort of add up to the price to get the liquid eyeliner. What I was going specifically to get was the new Wonderlast sticks in the matte version. They brought out 4 matte shades, and that is the last one that I had to pick up. It's called Strawberry Milkshake, I think. Yeah, Strawberry Milkshake. I got the bronzer in the shade Medium. One of my friends here on YouTube, Penny M Beauty, and she's got a lifestyle channel. I know she loves that cream bronzer, so I wanted to try it. And then I got the Wonder Ink liquid liner in the shade Black. Of all the makeup I have, I don't have a black liquid liner after I finished my Beauty Bay one. So let's see what this is like. It's very, very creamy, not too pigmented. I'm glad I went for the medium shade rather than the light. Blends so easily. and quickly. It's quite soft. I think I am going to build on it a little bit. Just build that up a little bit. I went in quite cautiously. That's better. It is buildable, which I really appreciate. And because it's so hot in here, it is actually melting, so there we go. Really happy with that now that I've built it up a little bit. I'm going to go in with my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand, just on the usual areas. And then I've got out my Revolution contour stick to do my nose and lips. Okay, and I am going to just use my Too Faced Brightening Concealer just to clean up where I've gone a little bit far with the bronzer and contour. I love this trick. It's been an absolute game changer since I started doing it. Okay, and now let's do my nose and lips. I can really smell the fake tan. Okay, and I am actually going to use a bit of the highlight. I keep neglecting this highlight and it is actually really pretty. Okay, and now for blush, I'm going to be using a new favourite, one of the new NYX Fat Cheeks blushes, and this is in the shade Peach Plunge. I absolutely love this formula. Very sheer, very buildable, but really easy to work with. Blends super easy. The one thing I will say, which hasn't happened to me but I have seen it happen to quite a few people, is because it is a liquid and the dough foot is quite big, the stopper isn't super tight, so don't turn it upside down with the lid off or anything because it will leak out. And that is a gorgeous colour. There we go. Now, because I have got fake tan on, I'm going to be using the IRL filter, IRL All Day Filter Mattifying Fixing Spray from Revolution, but I'm going to spray it onto my sponge and then onto my face rather than spray because I've got tan here. So okay, and to set my face, I'm going to be using under my eyes the MAC Prep and Prime transparent finishing powder, and then to set the rest of my face, I'm going to be using my NARS Soft Velvet Pressed Powder in the shade Snow. And for my powder bronzer, I'm going to be using an old classic. This is the Rimmel Radiance Brick, and I've got mine in the shade 02 Medium. And this is another product that is quite subtle. You can be sort of fairly heavy-handed with this, but it does leave a lovely glow to the skin, and just enough of like a sun-kissed colour. Okay, I've just prepped my lids with that Rimmel Wonder Stick in the shade Strawberry Milkshake, and inspired by that, I'm going to grab my Huda Beauty Icy Nude palette. I'm going to use some of these like cool neutrals. It's in my current Shop My Stash rotation, but I haven't really used it very much, so let's just do something fairly basic with this. So I'm going in with the light pink shade called IDGAF, and I'm just going to sweep that all over to set that Wonder Stick. You don't need to set those Wonder Sticks, they do dry down and they last all day. I haven't had any creasing or anything with them. Okay, next I'm going to go in with the shade, let's go in with this shade here, which is High Life, and I'm going to blend that through my crease. Okay, and next I'm going to be taking this shade here called Unapologetic, and I'm going to just deepen up my lash line, outer corner and under my lower lash line. Okay, and I am going to use one of the shimmers from the palette, but I've also got in rotation my, if I can grab it, my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Eye Filter. This is the one that's got the Baked Gelée eyeshadows in it, and it's got a lovely pinky tone here, which I'm just going to put all over my lid, and then I'm going to go in with one of the shades from the Icy Nude palette as well. And then I'm just going to reinforce a little bit of that darker shade Unapologetic along my lash line. And then from the Icy Nude palette, I'm going to take this shade here, Gold Standard, and just pop a little bit of that in the very centre. Just to add a little spotlight. And there we go. Right, now I'm going to pop off camera and I'm going to do some eyeliner and mascara. I'm probably just going to run a pencil liner along my upper and lower waterline, curl my lashes, do some mascara. I'm going to be using another tube of the Maybelline Firework that I've got open, and then I'll come back and we'll finish this look. Okay, so I've done my eyes, finished those off, and I've just put a layer of Wonderskin lip stain on in the shade, I can't remember, in the shade Darling, the like purpley red. Now I'm not going to use a highlight because that Rimmel bronzer is quite shiny already, but for my blusher I'm going to pull out my, if I can catch hold of it, my YSL Make Me Blush in the shade Peachy Nude, and I'm going to pop this on my cheekies. I decided to use mostly non-Revolution products today because I've been using them so much lately and doing so much content with them, and I'm going to be using a lot of Revolution obviously while I'm away, as a lot of my makeup at the caravan is makeup Revolution, and I didn't want people to get bored, so I thought I would just use what's in my Shop My Stash that isn't Makeup Revolution. So that is my face done. Okay, so I've just removed that lip stain and my lip combo is going to be super simple. I'm just going to be going in with the NYX Line Load lip liner in the shade Sassy and the ELF Glow Reviver lip oil in the shade Hot as Fudge. Now I'm currently not really a big fan of ELF due to their recent failed, in my opinion, marketing campaign with a comedian who makes light of and jokes about domestic violence, which is something I am super anti and opposed to, and I think the whole situation is just pathetic and the way that they handled it. So I'm not really buying from ELF at the moment. I don't feel very comfortable supporting the brand, but I have got a lot of ELF in my collection that I've spent my own money on, and I'm not going to like throw it away as I've seen some people do on social media. I just, you know, I haven't been sent these products, I've spent my own money on them, and I'm not just going to put them into landfill. So I am going to be using ELF on my channel. I'm hoping that they are going to do some serious self-reflection and apologise, because the apology that they did issue was ridiculous. It was a bigger joke than the failed joke that their marketing campaign was. So yeah, I have most of the lip reviver, glow reviver lip oils. They're one of my favourite formulas, so like I say, you will see me using ELF on my channel, but I'm not actively supporting them, if that makes sense. So let's go in with a brand that I do support and think are fantastic, NYX. I think it's really difficult as a beauty consumer with these brands that do these questionable and, you know, unethical things, and it's like, how far do you go? Like, there are brands that I do support that have done questionable things, but it's the way that they handle it, and how they change going forward. And I think Elf have done a couple of questionable things lately, that have just left a bad taste in my mouth, and it's been even worse the way they've handled the situation. If they'd have come out with an actual apology and sort of said, look, we support, you know, women and domestic abuse survivors, and, you know, this was a ridiculous oversight, you know, we shouldn't have done it, and given a charitable donation to a domestic violence charity or something like that. But it was like, it missed the mark with a few of our customers. We hear you and will strive to be better. And it's like, it didn't miss the mark with a few of your consumers. You missed the mark massively when you... Ugh. Yeah. But I also don't agree with, like I say, chucking good product away into landfill when there are people out there that, you know, desperately would like those products. And to see somebody, you know, chuck a pile of stuff into a garbage can, like a bin, as a statement, it feels a bit, you know, I have to see the other side of things as well, the other people that are watching that think, God, what I would do to have that stuff she's just thrown in the bin. So this is my finished look. Sorry I got a little bit off topic there. I usually don't sort of talk about that sort of stuff on my channel, but it was something I felt quite strongly about. As somebody who's been touched by domestic violence, it's, you know, something I feel quite strongly about. So yeah, love this look. I love the eyeshadow. I love Huda's eyeshadow formula anyway, and the new things that I tried, which was just the primer, which is glowing through the foundation. If you have oily skin, I don't think that would be any good for you. It's the San Moritz gradual tanning serum and primer, but yeah, you can see how glowy I was when I started this, and the glow is definitely coming through. But yeah, that's it. That's my look. I'm now going to get myself dressed, pack, and I may take some footage of our journey and the caravan when we get there, sort of a little bit of a bonus vlog footage at the end. But as of now, that's me done. Thank you so much for watching, lovely, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.